In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to deploy a Nodejs Web app on AWS EC2 instance, which is a server. And also, I'm going to use my own domain name and install a SSL certificate for HTTPS protocol. When I was trying to learn this, I did some research on the internet, and I did not find many detailed tutorials for my situation, so I decided to make this video. And I found this article very useful for me. I learned most of the procedures from this website, from this article. And also I made my own notes about this. It's very detailed. And I made a diagram. So first of all, I want to say that I'm not an expert. So this diagram was made with my personal understanding, so it might be wrong. My understanding is when a client sends a request, it typing a domain name into the browser. It's either HTTP or HTTPS on 80 or port 443. It's gonna translate it by DNS, the domain name system, to an IP address, and it's gonna point to a load balancer. And the load balancer is gonna use something called target group to get to our web application. Let's say the web application is listening on port 8080. It can be on any port, maybe 3000, and you can change the setting to 3000. So the load balancer will find the target group, and if it's 3000, it's gonna get information from 3000, port 3000. Okay, let's begin. So the first step is to get a domain name if you don't have one. So you have to go to AWS console, log into it. If you want to buy a domain name, you just search for domain, Route 53, and you can type anything like this is my domain name, huaguanshen.com. So you can try your name or anything like test. The test.com is taken, but you can choose other alternatives. And since I already have my own domain name, I'm not gonna buy another one. You can just purchase the domain name. Is $12 a year. Yeah. And then it should be after you purchase it, it should be displayed here, and you can go to hosted zone, click on your domain name, and you can go to the setting of it. Okay, the next step, you don't have to do this, but if you want HTTPS, which is if you want SSL certificate, you have to do this. Certificate manager. So you have to request a certificate for your domain name. So in this case, I already have my domain. I have a SSL certificate for my domain, and it's used for the HTTPS protocol. And let's request a new one. Let's say it's called test SSL dot mydomainname.com. And add another one. Let's say www dot the same thing. And next, we can use DNS validation. Oh, by the way, we're requesting a certificate first. It's because it takes a while for AWS to issue the certificate to me. So while we're waiting, we can do something else, such as launching the server. So here, since I bought the domain name from Amazon, from AWS, we can just click this button. It's gonna directly do the validation for me. It's automatic. If you buy the domain name from another company, from another website, you might have to do this manually, like add the following CNAME record to DNS configuration for a domain. Yeah, but honestly, my domain name is the first and only domain I've purchased, so I haven't bought any domain name from another website, so I don't know how exactly to manually add the CNAME to the DNS configuration in another website, but it shouldn't be too difficult. I'm gonna do something similar later. So in my case, since I purchased the domain name from Route 53, I can just click and create, and success. Let's keep going. So now I have to wait until the validation is complete, and while we are waiting, let's go to AWS console to launch a new instance of EC2. Go to EC2. Now I'm gonna launch a new instance of EC2. I'm gonna choose Ubuntu server since I'm familiar with it. I will choose the free version. Next. You can add storage as depends on how much storage you need. For the free tier version, you can get up to 30 gigabytes. But I'm gonna stay with 8 since I'm not gonna use this server later. And configure security group. So here you need to add HTTP and HTTPS. And these three are enough. SSH is for you to connect to a server, but you have to say anywhere. Otherwise, people may not be able to connect or go to your website. I'm gonna add a new one. It's a custom port. I will call it 8080. You will see later why I do this, and also anywhere. Review and launch. Oh wait, I'm gonna give it a name. Test SSL security group. Launch. And here I'm gonna you can choose existing key if you already have one. I have one, but for demonstration I'm gonna create a new key. Test SSL key .pem. Actually, you don't have to, and download the key. It's very important, so keep the file in a place that is safe and you will remember, because you can only download this private key one time, and later you will not have access to downloading this key. And I'm gonna launch. Yeah, it's launching and view instance. It's still pending. I'm gonna give the server a name. I'll call it test SSL. Okay. While we're waiting, I'm gonna do something with the key. Okay, so here is a private key. I'm gonna move it to the desktop. Okay, so it's here. I'm gonna create a folder for, let's call it AWS. I'll move it in this folder. So, in order to use SSH to connect to the server, you can click connect, and there is an example of how to connect. So here is the name of the private key file, and here is the address of your server. Okay, so now it's running. You're gonna open terminal and paste this command here. Oh, by the way, you cannot do this yet. Let's go to desktop, go to AWS. Since your key is here, you have to use this command in this folder. Yes. Okay. Permission denied. What's wrong? Maybe I cannot have read permissions for the other two groups. So let's say 600 for the key. What's the key name? Test SSL. So now only myself can read it. Okay, try again. It works. Okay, so now we have access to the server. I'm gonna quit. And I'm gonna show you another trick. Touch connect.sh and open it with some like vim connect. I'm gonna paste this command here and save it. Then you don't have to remember the server address every time, or otherwise you have to go to the console to copy this address. Now what you need to do is just connect. Okay, so it doesn't have permission. 700. Let's connect. Now you can execute the shell script connect. Okay, now you're connected to the server. So now I'm gonna make a simple Nodejs web app. Call it app or test app. cd into test app. But we will need to install Node.js. We don't have it. You can use sudo apt install Node.js, but in order to install the latest version, you may need to go to their official website. Here, oh no, I don't want this. Other downloads. All download option. No, not this one. With package manager. So since it's Ubuntu, I'm gonna click this. Yeah, here. From GitHub, you can find here. You can find the latest version and install with some command. Just paste the command here. It's gonna download the file and install by itself. Okay, so now Node is available and npm is available. So let's make a simple Node.js app. npm init. Entry point is index.js. Okay, so now we have a package.json that keeps track of the packages we download. Okay, now I'm gonna write a index.js file, which we will launch the server. Vim index.js const express equals require express app equals express bracket, and the port number equals 8080. You name it, anything is good. App.get, when you get a request to root, request response response.send, send back hello world. Close the bracket, and app.listen, listen on port, and the callback. Console.log, server listening port, close the bracket. And I guess that's it. I'm gonna save and exit. Right now I can launch the app, nodeindex.js. Okay, the server is running. And the server is ready. So for now, we haven't configured the domain name and SSL certificate yet. I'm gonna show you, you can use the public DNS to access the server. Since I have configured the security group to allow requests from port 8080. So we can go to 8080. Yeah, hello world. And also, you may, for example, find a server and copy the IPv4 public IP. The IP address works the same way. Also on port 8080, hello world, it works. But if you change to another port, like 8081, it's not gonna work. It's connecting. I'm gonna come back later. So for now, I'm gonna group name. Okay, I'm gonna give the security group a name, the same name. Okay, so the next step is to configure load balancer. Requests are gonna come from the client, and the DNS is gonna translate the domain name to an IP address, and the IP address is gonna point to a load balancer. I already have a load balancer here, and it's for my own website. I'm gonna create a new one. Use HTTP and HTTPS. Give it a name, test SSL load balancer, and give it another port. It's 443 for HTTPS. And here you have to select at least 2 availability zones, so you can select of them. Here you can choose a certificate. I think it's ready. You have to refresh. Refresh. Okay, so the new domain name is issued. Choose a certificate. Choose a new one, we just requested. And next, security group. So make sure you select the same one we just created. This is my the security group for my own website. I'm gonna choose this one. It's the one we just made. Configure routing. I'm gonna create a new target group. Call it test SSL target group. And since my web application is listening on port 8080, I'm gonna say 8080. Okay, let's keep going. Next, register targets. Select the one, the server, add to register. Okay, review and create. Done. So now the load balancer is configured to when it gets a request from port 80 HTTP or port 443, that's HTTPS, it's gonna redirect to the target group, which is port 8080 on the EC2 instance. So the next step is to make the domain name to point to our load balancer. Let's copy it and go to route 53. Hosted zones, my domain name, and we're going to create a record set. Note that when we were requesting SSL certificate, we were asked to add a CNAME to our DNS configuration, and it it was done automatically, but if you do it manually, you will do it here, and that's a CNAME. So this one is for my own website. These two are the two we just created, but we don't care about them. They're just for validation. We are gonna create a new record set. That's the domain name we want. And for alias, yes, target, we select the load balancer we just created. Okay, but you have to remember that if you just create a load balancer, the state of it might not be active. You have to wait until it's active. Then you can find the load balancer here. So it's active right now, so we can do it. Select test SSL load balancer, and anything else is the same. I'm gonna copy the subdomain, create the record set. This time I'm gonna do a www one. It's the same. And yes, target group. No, the load balancer. Create. So right now everything should be fine now. Okay, so we finally see that port 8081 doesn't work. Port 8080 works, but right now we should be able to use this domain to access Hello World, to access our web application. Yeah, success, but it's not secure. So if we say https:// this time it's secure, since we're using HTTPS protocol. That's because we requested the SSL certificate and we accessed our web app. So for a better demonstration, I'm gonna use a real app of mine. I'm gonna go to my GitHub. This is a web app I made earlier. I'm gonna get the address. Okay. I'm gonna queue this application. I will remove it and clone my application here. The server is in server.js, so I need to make sure that the server is listening on port 8080. Nope, it's listening on port 80. I'm gonna modify it. Okay, right now it should work. Node server.js, or you can also use npm start if you configure the package.json properly. So it's listening on port 8080. My app looks like this. So let's check out. So HTTPS and the domain. Here's my web app. But there is a problem. Sometimes it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes when you quit the SSH session on the web app, the node web app is gonna end automatically, and there is a way to prevent it. I'm gonna Ctrl+C to end this process first. You can use this screen command to open something that will run in the background. Use dash capital S to set the name. Test SSL. And then from here, you can launch the app, npm server, and add the end symbol in the end to keep it running in the background. You can do something else. Otherwise, it's gonna occupy the command and you cannot type new commands. And to quit the session, you can just use exit or Ctrl+A and D. Okay, it's detached, but it's screen is still running in the background. You can use screen-r to go back. Okay, that's where we left. Exit. So now it's running in the background. No, it doesn't work. Wait, what's wrong? I think I'm gonna start again. npm start. And Ctrl-A-D to detach from screen. Refresh. Yeah, works now.